Hello, friends. How's everyone doing on this Friday? Right? Yay. Hi, Lorraine. I'm glad you could join. I'm glad. Got a few things going on. Hold on one sec. Woodrow. You're such a meanie. Be nice. Okay. Hello, friends. Lorraine, how are you doing today? How's your Friday so far? It's lunch hour, so I thought I'd take this time to hop on here and do a few things. Bring you guys along with me. Hey, Texas Mama, how are you doing? We made it. It's Friday. You know? Thank goodness. So I got an Amazon package. We're gonna look to see what goodies we got today. Don't want to knock anything over. We got lots of goodies in here. I'm excited about this. So far, so good. It's pouring out. Well, that's a good thing. It's raining here. Thank goodness we didn't have any snow. And it's a halfway decent temperature. It's in the low 50s. I actually have the back screen door, sliding glass door open a little bit, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to close it because it is a little chill. So, as you all know, I make tinctures. And as the spring is coming, I like to use some fresh herbs. I'm going to get more into, we had that earlier this week. I'm over it. I'm so over it. But as spring comes, I want to get more into using fresh herbs because that's when their goodness is so fresh. You know what I mean? But we also have water content that are in fresh plants versus dried herbs because they're dry. So to make sure, and I couldn't find mine. I had one of these. I'll probably find it, and I'll have two, and that's okay. But it's called a hydrometer, and this actually helps test your alcohol content. So I will know if my alcohol content is enough and if my water content is enough after it has pulled out those water soluble properties versus the ethanol soluble. So it is called a hydrometer. I'm going to turn this around. It's called a Soljet. And it comes with those things there, and you can see here for home brew. So a lot of people use this when they're making their own mead, their own alcohol, so it can test the alcohol content, which is what I want to do in my tinctures, to see if they're strong enough, if they're going to be good medicine. So we've got that today. I bought a little heater because where my seedlings are, they have lights on them, but they're in the basement, and so a couple hours during the day I want to throw some heat on them, so I bought this. It will not be left unattended, and it also has a timer on it. Let's see. What else is in here? We got our food grade glycerin, and boy, they packaged that up. Because I'll tell you what, I'm glad they did. Food grade glycerin is very, very sticky. It's very sweet. And you use this to make a glycerite. So if someone isn't good with using alcohol in their tinctures and their medicine, you can use food grade glycerin to use it, to make it. So I don't normally use 100% of my tincture with glycerin. You really shouldn't, because it's very strong. It can kind of irritate the esophagus. So I use a 70% glycerin and 30% distilled water when I'm making my tinctures. But children seem to be also more in favorable of this. As I said, it's a sweet taste. But I also, to make it even more flavorful, when I'm making a glycerite medicine, I'll use powdered lemon that I've dehydrated and ground up. I also, yesterday, bought some flavorings. You know, the flavorings that you use for rock candy. I bought some of those, like a grape and a cherry, just in case I don't have much luck with dehydrating those fruits and making a powder out of them. I don't grow grapes. I don't have a cherry tree. And sometimes it's hard to get fully organic, and you know what I'm saying. So I did use that option. But here, it's heavy. Here is your food grade glycerin. Again, this was off of Amazon. Vegetable glycerin, 100% highest quality, all natural. And it does say food grade vegetable glycerin. This is actually what they use when on over-the-counter syrups, cough medicines, things like that. It has that in it. The last thing, but not least, is, we're going to get rid of that box. Ooh. This is a mini sous vide cooker. So sous chefs use this a lot. I used to have one of these. Mine broke probably about 6 months ago, so I had to buy a new one. I use this when I have been extracting some type of plant material, or, you know, some type of, I'm trying to get the medicinal properties out of something, and I'm using alcohol. So when I strain that tincture, if my plan is to turn that into a salve, I need to burn that alcohol off. Not the medicinal properties, but just the alcohol. Because alcohol and beeswax, if I use beeswax, or, you know, I want to use an oil, you gotta have to have an oil to use the beeswax. The alcohol's not going to mix right. So I need to remove that alcohol. And this is a good tool to use that for. So I have a bloodroot tincture going right now, and it's going to be ready this weekend. So my plan is to first make an oil, then I'm going to turn it into a salve, and we're going to use this to do that process. So that's what I got today. Also, I had prepared and chopped up some mushrooms yesterday. We had some beach mushrooms, which are good for the skin. I had some maitake mushrooms that we chopped up, and those are good for your heart health. I also harvested my own lion's mane mushrooms. Those are good for brain fog, brain health in general, memory health. And I had some shiitake. And shiitake is overall good for so many things in the body. It's kind of like a reishi, you know, in how many different medical properties that it provides our bodies. So I had shiitake, beech, lion's mane. Did I forget one? Maitake. So we had 4 of those. I have taken half of those. I'm going to do a different tincture this time. My goal is to make a very strong, powerful tincture for these mushrooms. And I'm going to do a triple double tincture. I know that sounds crazy. If I find out on doing the 2 doubles and I don't want to go to a triple, but I did a lot of research on it last night, there are many very well-known herbalists who have written books on this, and I studied their case studies on it, and it sounds like this is going to be a really good route to go for that medicinal properties. Normally, if you do just a double extraction on specifically mushrooms, is what I was doing, reviewing these reports and studies on, you get about a 4% mushroom total extraction. With a triple double, I'm sorry, it was just a triple double, not a triple double. It's just a triple double extraction. You're getting about 19%. So you've really bumped up the medicinal properties of those mushrooms. And that is my plan. So in order to do that, I had to take some of those mushrooms that I had fresh and chopped up. I took half of them, and they're in the dehydrator right now. The other half are still in my refrigerator, just as I had prepared them last night. And we are going to tincture those with a high-proof alcohol today. Hold on one sec. Yeah, they're over there on the counter. He's expecting you. So he's making an herbal tincture delivery for me. A family member that I assist in his health in fighting cancer. He needed a restock, so he messaged me and told me what he needed, and we're getting it over there to him. But anyway, where was I at? High proof alcohol. So today I went to the liquor store, and I was really hoping to find full proof. Of course, you can't buy moonshine here in Ohio. It's too high of a proof. I'm sure there's somebody around me that makes it homemade, but I don't know anybody personally. So they only had 151 proof of Everclear. I was actually looking for the 191. If you see here, it is 75.5. Good morning, the Cantrell family. And I probably shouldn't show that on TikTok. I'm going to get in trouble. 75.5, but we're going to go with 75% alcohol by volume. I also bought my standard 100 proof vodka, which is 50% of alcohol by volume. So with that being said, when we think about how it's made, all right, the Everclear that I purchased, it's 75% ethanol, alcohol. So the other 25% is water. Mushrooms have a lot of water content when they're fresh. Actually, in my research, their water content can be anywhere from 70 to 80% water content. Of course, when you dry them, you're removing all of that. But in mushrooms, There's so much medical goodness in there, and a lot of that medical goodness can only be extracted by water. So I could do it one of two ways. I could use the 100 proof alcohol, and I have 50% water in there, but then I'm getting about 70% of water out of the mushrooms. That's a lot of water when you add those two percentages together. So I don't want to use 50% water in my alcohol. I want to use the higher content of ethanol alcohol with the Everclear. I will add a little bit of distilled in there after it sits for a while, and I can use that hydrometer to measure my alcohol content. If I find that the alcohol content versus the water content is too high and not to my liking, I can add distilled water mid-processing, okay? Using the Everclear, which is a higher alcohol content, is not going to remove or ruin the polysaccharides, the water solubles in those mushrooms. They're just going to kind of be still, you know what I mean? And with that 25% of water that's in the Everclear, it's going to pull a little bit of those out, okay? And we will do a double extraction when it comes time for the processing of the Everclear to be done, and then we'll be finished with that. My next step is going to be the double extraction part. And as I mentioned, I took half of the mushrooms that I cut up yesterday, and they're in the dehydrator right now. My second part of the extraction is I'm going to take those dehydrated mushrooms and the mushrooms that I'm going to strain from the Everclear, and I'm going to do a decoction. It's going to be in hot water, and that hot water on those dried and the mark. So a mark is when you strain something, that plant matter that's left over, that's called your mark. So all the composted stuff, whatever's left over of those plants, that's called a mark. So I will take those dehydrated mushrooms, and I'm going to take the mark from the Everclear. We're going to do a decoction. So now we're up to 2. And then once we get to 2, I'll explain how I'm going to do the triple. So today we are going to add some Everclear to our mushrooms. And I didn't realize how many mushrooms I really have. I'm going to have to go back to the liquor store and get some more. You know what I'm saying? Because we had lots of shrooms. We had lots and lots of shrooms. Okay, sorry about that. All right, we are first going to start with the maitake mushrooms. And what I did, for those of you guys who missed it, these were fresh maitake mushrooms. I chopped them up, and these are my lion's mane, and I grew these. I'm so proud of these guys. After I chopped them up, I put a clean, wet paper towel in there to keep them moist. And I tried to put them in here, and of course they've been sitting in here overnight, but look how pretty they are. They look like little snowflakes. Aren't they cool? I think they're beautiful. I just gotta say, I think they're really pretty. So yeah, we had quite a bit in here. So I'm going to have to chop those down. I'm trying to think the quickest way to do this is probably going to be through a processor. And I packed these in here really, really tight. So we're going to do a few things here. Again, this is a clean jar. It was normally my tea, but we're not using it for that. If you guys do not follow Science with Nature, oh my goodness, this man is a wealth of information. I learned so much from him. Every Sunday evening, he does a live, and he teaches us Sunday evening at 7 p.m., and he teaches me so much. He's just a wealth of information. And whereas I usually have to sit here and go, let me check on that. Hold on. And I'm going into my spreadsheet. He just remembers it off the top of his head. So, Science with Nature. Now, I already have some lion's mane that I have dried. So what I harvested last night, these are going to go into the very high proof alcohol, Everclear. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to do a double extraction when these are done processing. So let me get something to cut these up with. Bringing out the big boy. Kind of is bittersweet chopping these up. They're like my little babies. But you can't keep them fresh forever. And the purpose was to get some good medicine out of these. And I found out the tough way last night. This thing's really sharp. I am chopping some lion's mane mushrooms that I harvested last night. They're very good for brain health, brain fog, so many things. You have to research lion's mane mushrooms. There's so many benefits of mushroom therapy. Yep. Looks-wise, I just love them. They're like my fave. All right, guys. Let me open this up. I am going to be doing this off camera because we don't want to get the TikTok police on me. Oh, 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 oh. Can you hear it? And we have it filled. Oddly enough, I prefer press and seal instead of, you know, a coffee filter or anything that you see. And this stops corrosion from happening on the lids. These things are tin or aluminum, whatever they're made out of. I've got some logs. Plunge with lion's mane, still waiting for them to start growing. Ooh, nice. Yes, I bought a lion's mane brick from a gentleman on Etsy. The mushroom man from Patonia or something. All right, we're going to put this lid on. We will continue to shake this on a regular basis. It'll be put out of sunlight in a dark area. And as I said, I have the hydrometer that I'm going to use to monitor the alcohol content of this while this is processing. Let's get that out of the way. And so here we are. Oh yeah, most definitely. Can tincture all your mushrooms. You need to do a double extraction on it so that you can get out the water-soluble polysaccharides and everything out of it on your double extraction, but this is the first extraction. All right, so we're going to put that to the side here. We have a lot of the, which ones were these? Were these the beach? No, these were the maitake. Maitake are well known for heart health. So we're going to, well, hold on one moment. Can you say I really packed them in there? I've got a skewer here, and we're just going to loosen these up a little bit. Boy, you can really, when I opened them up last night, the smell is so, what do I want to say? The first moment that I opened them, I smelled like a skunk smell, but that quickly transformed to a very outdoorsy, watery, like a swampy but not fishy smell. It's not like they smell the greatest. Again, this was a clean jar. This was just my tea. I already have them labeled on the lid. We're going to use the last, because I only got the smaller of the bottles here. We're going to put this in here. And it just about covered it. So the remainder is going to be with my 100 proof. That's going to kind of mess up my math. So what I'm going to do, one moment please. I'm going to weigh it. The reason I'm doing this, I'm going to weigh it with the mushrooms and the amount of Everclear that's in here. And then I'm going to weigh it after, so I know the difference between the Everclear amount and the 100 proof amount. Okay. All right, now then we're going to clear that. All right, and we're going to all right, we have got a difference of, I was trying to put this lid on here. That's not going to work. All right, hold on. This just died on me here. Let me get to my notes. All right, make sure I'm exact because I'm not really good with remembering things, so I'm going to pull that up. It's 218 minus, All right, so we've got about 68 grams of the 100 proof, and we just put that in there. All right, we filled this to the top. These are the maitake. We've got our menstruum in there. We're going to shake them. I'm going to turn them upside down, make sure even after shaking that we still have enough alcohol and all the mark in here is covered, and it is. So we're going to set that to the side also. These are the shiitake. We're going to use what I have on hand, which is the 100 proof. And I have some of these that are in the dehydrator that will be part of the... Took this off of there. Apparently I have no patience. The dried ones we will be doing in the... Oops. I forgot to put my press and seal on both of those. Getting ahead of myself. Hi, Schmid. Is it okay if I call you that, Schmid? All right. Interesting. So did you guys notice that? Now they're always going to be floaters, and that's where you need to make sure that grand rising and many blessings to you. Felt drawn to your life. Oh, well, I'm sorry you can't stay. Thank you for joining us. Follow. I've got a lot of good content out there. So if you can imagine mushrooms as fluffy and lightweight as they are, they're going to float, because these are not as packed full as the others were. So we're going to try adding a little bit more. And it is up to the very top. Good morning, Cajun Queen. What is this for, and how long do you store before using? These are shiitake mushrooms. Shiitakes are very good for your health. They're good for overall body cleansing. They're good for skin health. And you let them sit That's as full as I can get it. We're going to have to keep an eye on those. I'm going to let these sit for about 4 weeks. Instead of 6. Normally all my tinctures I let sit for 6. But mushrooms, because of... Hey, gray-eyed lady, how are you? I hope you're doing well. But anyway, I'm doing mini extractions on these. So I'm shortening up. These are the beech mushrooms. B-E-E-C-H. These are extremely good for skin and hair. Just FYI, I purchased all of these at a Japanese grocery store. Those look good. Let's put some press on seal on there. Thank you. I was going to ask where you bought them. Yes, You'd be amazed, honestly. Go to your local Asian grocer if you have one. Even if you would have to travel a little bit, I honestly would. You can find fresh burdock root. It's used in a lot of their dishes. You can dehydrate it. You could tincture it. You can make teas with it. You could tincture it fresh. Entirely up to you. Lemongrass root and stalks, fresh, all organic. Same scenario. So many things. I end up getting some Japanese nogo, which is a very large green onion, which is dehydrating right now. And I'm going to turn that into onion powder. I made some to sit back in August, and I just strained it. Oh, most definitely. It's going to be fine. Most definitely. As long as you've, oregano oil. I'm assuming that's the kind of oil that you used. And it was a dried oregano and not a fresh. You really don't want to use fresh herbs in oil because water and oil do not mix, and that can cause a problem. And Yes, and if you use dried and EVOO, then yes, you are great. You are great. You can strain that and use it. All right, guys. Well, we have all of those processed. I bought, I guess this is a gallon, or is this a half gallon? I don't even know. It's one of the big ones. That's all I got left. I bought one of these, and that's gone. So it does take a lot, guys. And of course, they never, do they even have sales on alcohol? I don't even know. You have lemongrass in your hemp balm. I like that idea. I've never messed with hemp and, pulling out those the medicinal properties out of it. Probably something I should really look into doing. I do have some CBD oil that I purchased from a company that came very well recommended to me. And I've used it a few times. Hold on, let me get you guys up here. What did he say? I missed the stinging nettle?
No, he asked if you had any.
Oh, cool. Tell him thank you. I'll buy some more stock because all of his stuff, I'm about out of the herbs anyway. Good.
Are you still videoing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. So, I don't know where I was going with this. Hi, Linda. How are you? So, he wants stinging nettle?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I actually use some, like I said, I have some. First time I ever used it, I had actually gone to see Elton John in concert. Now I have scoliosis. Going to just throw that out there, everybody. And I keep it under control, pain-wise. Doing a lot of exercises. I try to keep my inflammation down. That's why I take a lot of tinctures, various tinctures for, other health things, like heart health and liver health and lymphatic and, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's okay. That's okay, Linda. I'm going to try to download this when it's done processing, and I'll put it over on YouTube. So follow me on YouTube. I try to put my lives over there. But anyway, I went to an Elton John concert, and as you can imagine, you got to walk forever anyway. And I was fine going there, but those seats are not exactly the most comfortable seats. And how comfortable can they be when you're trying to shove thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people in a stadium, Yes, it is the same. Yes, ma'am. So when we were leaving, I really noticed the pain just starting to shoot. And I was with my daughter. And this was a bucket list thing. I had seen Elton John before. She loves Elton John. She grew up with me jamming to Elton John all the time. So, you know, this was something she wanted to share with me, see him for the first time in her life. So that was one of the Christmas presents one year that I got her. Actually, the original concert was postponed during COVID, so this wasn't that long ago. But anyway, leaving after sitting, it really wreaked havoc on my back. And then walking the amount of distance that from where we had parked or to even catch an Uber. We didn't drive, we had caught an Uber. But exactly, they do make them too small. What the hell, you know? Oh my God, I was in so much pain. I was in so much pain. And I had had a few beers when we were there, and I'm not a drinker. So the reason I even had the beer was I was hoping it would kind of make me think about the pain. And because I'm not really a drinker, after 2 beers, I didn't notice anything. And I'm like, okay, this clearly is not going to help. So we get back to our hotel room, and she's like, you need to take this CBD oil, Mom. I love it. You got to try it. And I just did a couple drops under my tongue. Pain went away, and I was out like a light. Now, I know a lot of that was probably because my anxiety was so high because of the pain. I'm sure because of my anxiety, it was increasing my pain level. You know what I mean? Well, thank you, little ducky. You're very sweet. But it helped, and it helped me go to sleep. And I think, you know, with the anxiety, I was very shocked that I could go to sleep that quick. But that was the last time I have had to use it, when it was that bad. Usually what I take on the normal with my tinctures helps me. But that day was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. So last night, some of you were on my live. I was doing my nighttime thing, and I use a leave-in black castor oil lotion on my hair, on the ends. I do the praying hands thing, get it all over my ends. And then I just roll my hair up like this, and then I wrap it. And you want to watch what kind of, anytime that you're putting your hair up. Of course, you don't want to wear these during the day, but you need to be mindful of what you're wrapping your hair up, because, you know, your hair's dead except for up at the... But when I take my hair down, see how it just curls it? And I haven't taken it down since I put it up last night. So, yes, definitely put, you know, leave in if, you know. Now, I do have, my younger years, I had really curly hair. But as I went through menopause, my hair is basically straight. But, thank you. Yeah, now, of course, some of this is going to fall out through the rest of the day. But, I like it first thing in the morning, you know. You could spray it, you know. Oh, the pain is awful from scoliosis. It really is. And I notice, my little ducky, blessings to you, sweetheart. And I try not to really share that a lot, but because I can manage it, but man, it gets rough some days. But like I said, all in all, I can manage it usually. You use oil packs on your liver. Good. Thank you for sharing that. I've never done the castor oil packs. Those things have been around for years. That concept has. I remember my best friend. She had horrible periods as in her 20s. And her mom always used to tell her to use the oil, you know, she used just a piece of cloth, wool cloth or linen or something. And there were times that she would even use the old school maxi pads, you know, and put the castor oil on there, and she would put those on her lower uterine area and stuff, and it really did help her. She's been using those for years, and I'm glad they came back out because they are very helpful. Again, I've never personally used one, but I know, you know, a lot of people do, and yeah, very helpful, very, very helpful. So what we got accomplished today was I was able to show you guys some of my Amazon finds. Again, my bloodroot tincture is going to be ready this weekend. I'm hoping that I can get to it. I would like to spend some time with my granddaughters if I can, so this might be getting put off. But it's a mini sous vide cooker, and it basically looks like that apparatus there. And what this is for, so let's say this was, oh, I didn't know that, gray-eyed lady. I might have to do that. So what this is good for, let's say I had my tincture. Let me get it for you guys so I can show you. The coloring with the lighting in here is probably not going to give this the justification it really needs but can you see it looks brown, but it is a red. It's definitely a red color. So this is bloodroot. What is it good for, you may be asking? Bloodroot, actually, Google it, true story. There was an Amish guy in Indiana. He used this for his animals to get rid of tumors. And one day, apparently, he thought, okay, I'm going to start marketing this into a salve, and I'll sell it. It was called Tumor Be Gone, or Tumor Gone, T-U or T-O hyphen M-O-R, gone or be gone. And he sold a lot of it. But unfortunately, in his advertisements, he said it could get rid of cancer tumors. Well, the FDA found out about that. And the FDA didn't like the fact that he was, what's the herb called again? This? Bloodroot. Well, the FDA found out about it, and they didn't like that he was putting on his packaging that it could remove tumors on the skin. So anyway, they ordered him to stop packaging his product like that. And I'm not really sure if Heath, and this is my own personal opinion, I'm not sure if he really thought that he didn't need to listen to the FDA because of his own religious beliefs. Because let's think about this. Let's think outside the box. They don't have to sign up for the armed services when they turn the age of 18 based upon their religion. So I don't know if that was kind of the mindset that he was taking, but he did not change his packaging, and he didn't listen to the FDA. Well, he's now sitting in prison for about 6 years, and I'm talking about bloodroot, an Amish gentleman who used this in a salve. Just look up, Google bloodroot Amish man, Indiana. You'll find it. So anyway, he's in prison now. Yeah. So I have a friend who, their horse, it's one of their pets. It's not a racehorse or anything like that. Their kids love it, you know. Yeah, yes. You know, and everybody knows that, well, I shouldn't say that. not everyone knows everything, and not everyone uses common sense, because, you know, McDonald's lost a lawsuit, and a large lawsuit, about hot coffee, you know. So now they have to put on there it's hot, because somebody didn't know that hot could hurt. Anywho, my own opinions. I'm not saying that everybody thinks that way. It's my thought. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody. We're all entitled to opinions. If they're like assholes, we all have one. So, where was I going with this? It's their kid's pet. They've had it for years and years. They love it, and there's a mass on its leg. So they had asked me to make this bloodroot tincture. Now it's a tincture, so I've used alcohol. It's a root. It was a very dried. It was not fresh. I don't grow this. I had to order this root. I got it on Etsy. And so because of that, I did use a high proof, 100 proof alcohol to start the process. But they do want it in a salve. So that's where this comes into play. So when I strain this, okay, I'm actually going to keep the plant material, which is also known as the mark. So anytime you strain your tincture, all the plant matter that's in there, they call that the mark. So I'm going to pour all of this into a container, okay? And then this container here, because I mentioned, let's pretend this is a container. This box is a container. I'm going to put water in this box, and I'm kind of going to do a double boiler type of concept. I'm going to take all this, including the plant, just dump this entire jar into another container that's sitting in here. So it's going to be smaller, okay? I'm going to dump that in there. And then I'm going to take this sous vide cooker. I'm going to set it in here so that it's touching the water, but not touching the plant material container that's in here, okay? I'm going to set it in there, and I'm going to turn it on. And what that does is it's going to heat up all this water in here, okay? Now then, along with this tincture that's in this container that's sitting as a double boiler in here, I'm also going to add my oil that I want to use for my salve. And I'm probably going to use a castor oil with some vitamin E. I'm not sure about the vitamin E. I'm going to have that discussion with my friend who's going to be using this on her animal. But anyway, definitely castor oil. Castor oil penetrates the skin layers the deepest. So we're going to use castor oil. And again, it's going to be used on a horse. But what this machine, what this appliance here does is when it's in the water, it's going to burn off the alcohol. And it's just going to leave me the oil with all those medicinal properties left in the oil. Now, I actually got this idea using this one. I had another type of thing that I used, and I've also used a crock pot method on it before too. I had one of these. It broke last year, but what's his name on here that showed that? I can't remember his name. But anyways, creator, if you're watching this, I give you credit 100% for this one here. But anyway, that's my plan. We're going to turn it into a salve. And this is going to cook that alcohol. It's going to evaporate the alcohol and just leave me the oil that is going to be very beneficial and full of medicine. Well, thank you. I'm glad you found me too. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much. So I shared all this that I got today, and we got some, in case somebody wasn't here when I shared, I had my vegetable glycerin come in. This is good to make a glycerite, so people who don't like tinctures can't have alcohol, or anything like that. I do refrigerate mine, Mile High City Chica. Yes, I do. Mine's in my refrigerator. Yeah, especially if you're using fresh turmeric root, not powdered. If it was powdered, no, you wouldn't have to. If all the things you're adding to it were powdered, nope, you could leave it out. But if you're using fresh, you can have some bacteria starting to live in there, you know. There's a possibility of it, and just remove that possibility altogether. You just go ahead and refrigerate it. Anyways, this is food grade glycerin, okay? People don't want alcohol, don't want a tincture, can use this. And it's a sweeter, it's very sticky, it's very thick. When I tincture this, or when I use this in a glycerite, I use a 70% glycerin with a 30% water. And sometimes I use colloidal silver as my water type. Did you read this? It's a vegetable. And I got that off Amazon. Whole leaf tea, is it possible to make a tincture with those tea leaves? Sure. Yes. As long as they're organic and not been, you know, processed. You always want to make sure anything that you're tincturing is organic. For my family member that has cancer, we used to have him on a tea. I don't know why we did it for so long. He would just drink tea. And it had like mistletoe in it, a turkey tail mushroom, so many different things in that tea. And one day I was like, why are we doing this? Let's just make a tincture out of this. He goes, yeah, I don't know why we never thought about it. So yeah, you can do that. We'll stand on it. Out and about, driving and listening to my live. Well, pick me up some goodies while you're out. I bet you are ready to get the hell out, breathe some fresh air. Mahalo. You're very welcome. Does anyone have any questions over the things we've gone over today? We have gone ahead and added our Everclear to the majority of our mushrooms. I've started drying the mushrooms also. You're going to get more concentrated effects with the tincture than you would the tea. Most definitely. Because if you think about it, you're just infusing that tea into hot water for 15 minutes or even a decoction, 30 minutes, an hour, or whatever. Whereas a tincture, it's sitting in there 6 weeks is what I do. Even if you did, 4 weeks. Keep the paper on the lids for the whole Yes, ma'am. Yes. Correct. Shake it. Shake it as every time you think of it, pass it, shake it. And this one, my shiitakes, in comparison to my other mushrooms, they must be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Fibrous? Because they sure float. Whereas the other ones, I don't see that as much. So, you see how, they're covered, but I'm going to have to make sure and be very mindful to shake these every day to make sure that, I removed as much air from here by filling it up to the rim as I possibly could. But sometimes that happens. And that's why I always like to turn them upside down to see, okay, how much air is really in there? And how does that mark, whatever is in there, how covered is it? Is it totally immersed? So if you find that something really isn't, you need to make sure you shake it regularly so it doesn't get bacteria on it. Because there might be that one little piece, couple little pieces. Now see, this one, it's not, it was a clean jar, just an old jar. And I have it labeled on top. I just got to put the dates on them. Do you use wax paper, parchment paper? You can use either, but I, myself personally, I like press and seal. Because it kind of, you know, kind of sticks on there, you know? So I kind of like that a little bit better. When done, you drain out the liquid and put in a glass bottle. So my mushrooms, so are you talking about leaf tea, or we talking about leaf tea was cool? So you're talking about the mushroom tinctures. I'm going to do like a triple double extraction on these. So in a few weeks, I am actually going to do another process, and I'll bring you guys along with me on that. The mushrooms at the minimum need a double extraction. This is just part one. We've got to do more to these after these sit. So we wouldn't be able to bottle them up right away, because you're going to get more medicine, because mushrooms have a lot of water soluble properties, and you need water to pull those out. And I used Everclear, so that's only 25% water. I got 151. Okay. Ooh, Linus Queen. I'm glad you're getting into the teas. I'm telling you, if you've never tried tinctures, try some tinctures. I mean, they really are. So if you buy loose leaf tea, just take a little bit of that. You don't need a big jar. Just get yourself a pint jar, or get yourself a jelly jar. Put some of those leaves in there and throw you some, 100 proof alcohol in there. Make yourself a tincture. Let it sit for 6 weeks. Put it into an amber jar. Try it that way and see if you find better results with the tincture versus, drinking the tea. Hi, RC. Welcome. We're just adding the Everclear to our mushrooms. I'm drying some of the mushrooms also. What do you take the bloodroot tincture? Well, I don't take the tincture. It's in tincture form right now, but I'm going to be using that for a salve. And it's actually for a horse. But I'm not gonna lie, you can go out to PubMed, which is a lot of scientific studies and results by a lot of very good clinicians and scientists, and they do say that bloodroot can help with skin cancer and some other things. So, but I'd like for you to do your own research before, using it, because I'm definitely not a doctor. Let's see here. Yes, I agree, Linus Queen. They're much better. You're making the mineral health and support tights. Good. I'm glad. You've got your whole weekend planned out, Brandy. My friend made some delicious all-natural health bars with lion's mane. That sounds yummy. Yeah, that sounds yummy. I never thought about that. Could use them in, because you can cook with them, but I never thought about health bars. Be a good idea. I want to change your black seeds with alcohol. Do I need to smash seeds first? Yes. Yes, you definitely want to smash them first. You want to break that outer hard shell. And keep in mind, it may not be as strong as fresh Nigella sativa seeds in a seed press. Because to get the actual black seed oil, they need to be fresh and they need to be cold pressed. So using dried seeds, you're going to have limited medicinal effects. Oh, well, thank you. That was cute. Thank you. Your brother-in-law has skin cancer. I want to make a blood routine. Here's the thing with bloodroot. Where did I just read that? And I think this is what got that Amish doctor into trouble. Where did I see that? I think I marked it. I sure did. This is in this book, because I was reading this morning. Okay. Herbal Constituents by Lisa Kenora. And this is about the bloodroot alkaloids. And let's see here. Where did I read it? Actually, it helps with dental plaque too. Could you imagine? Who would have thunk? Okay. All right, so zinc chloride. That is actually what makes bloodroot bad for you. Zinc chloride. There are numerous empirical observation of true herbal black salve, which is bloodroot, having efficacy against normal skin growths. But if you use zinc chloride with bloodroot, it will cause tissue damage and scarring, and it should be strictly avoided. It has history of topical treatment for warts and other growths on the skin. In Appalachian tradition, they would actually ooze the sap directly on the wart. So yeah. What do you recommend for psoriasis? Bloodroot. Just don't mix bloodroot with zinc chloride. No zinc chloride. Straight bloodroot, you're okay. According to this book. And we're going to earmark that again. Psoriasis. I would first suggest taking a dandelion tincture. A lot of your skin issues have to deal with, you know, a sluggish liver, gut health also. So that's my first suggestion. I would also look into like a chamomile or calendula oil. If you can only find an essential oil, you want to add a carrier oil with those because they're very concentrated. Also topically, you could use marshmallow root, which has a mucilage. It's a cooling herb. It may possibly help that along with yarrow. And you could use poultices for those. Yarrow, marshmallow, and I'm drawing a blank. I know there's a few others. Yarrow, marshmallow, excuse me. You could also poultice the fresh flowers of calendula and what did I say? Chamomile. And even if you just have tea bags, actually, a chamomile tea that you buy in a tea bag, you could always just cut those open and put them into a bowl and take some oil, you know, and put those on there. The clove would maybe a little too strong. I don't know if I would use the clove because psoriasis is a very delicate skin issue and it can become sometimes painful it would just depend on that individual's, what they're experiencing with it. So if it actually is painful for them, because it's, you know, clove can be, I mean, if you guys, it would just depend on the individual, but it's very antibacterial and antimicrobial, so it may show some benefits to it. You're welcome. Tell them to mind their own business. I hope they heard me. Where should I get black seed from? I get all my herbs on Etsy. Adrenal. What do you recommend? Adiona. I'm not familiar with that. Is that just kind of like a sluggish adrenal? I don't know. I've never done a parasite cleanse yet. I purchased Zuma. It's on my shelf, so I can't help with that. But herbs wise, I do know black walnut, wormwood, cayenne together actually help with that. And as far as a binder, you could use activated charcoal. That's what I'm going to use. But I don't have any of those herbs, so I didn't want to purchase them. So I purchased the Zuma. And I keep on screwing up on the carbohydrates. I want to be carb-free and sugar-free before I do my detox. And I keep on messing up and eating carbs. Like I had Olive Garden chicken Alfredo last night. And it was so good. My mom has autoimmune no treatments in the doctor's plans. Oh, Brandy, they did good. Did I cut my hair? No. It's from my oils and putting it up. Oh, look pretty. Telling you, girl, you need to use my stuff up there in the Kardashian room. That is my real life sister. Nikki, you have to tell everybody about my tinctures that you take. Seriously, she's my real life sister, guys. I'm in the middle of a parasite cleanse. Oh, well, good. You have to let me know. Yeah, I love the Olive Garden. Well, thank you. I really, really like it. She tells me my tinctures saved her life. What herbs did you want to use again for the parasite cleanse? Wormwood, black walnut, and a little cayenne. Do you put the marshmallow root on your skin or invest it? Same with the dandelion. So the marshmallow root for psoriasis, I would do a cold extraction. Put the marshmallow leaves and root in a glass jar. And I would put cold water in there and I would let it just sit for like 12 hours, 24 hours. It's going to get slimy. That's the mucilage. And then after it starts feeling a little slimy, I'd put it into a cloth because you're going to make a poultice. And I'd dump all that in there and I would either put it on the finger or wherever you're doing it and wrap it, but you want it to be touching the skin, you know. But that's how I would do that. And the yarrow also. Oh, well, good, Cajun Queen. You have to let me know how you like it. Now, the dandelion, though, you would want to take either the tea or the tincture. The tincture is going to be a little bit stronger. Schmedley. What Schmedley? Wasn't that on a show, that name? Schmedley, like Stephen King. Schmedley. Sherry. Okay, Sherry. Hi. Yeah, you have to let me know because I'm going to do it soon once I get my act together. All right, guys. Yes, I enjoy hanging out with you guys. All right, guys. Take care. I'm sure I'll hop on here a little bit later. You guys are always great. 13,000 likes. We had a nice amount of people on the live today, too. Really good. I wanted to show you guys, too. I truly, truly, truly feel that my skin oil, which I have a video, is doing a lot of good. Look at my wrinkles. There's no makeup on. Okay, I did pull my skin there. But they're not as prominent. I don't wear face foundation. We can tell that because of my rosacea is still there. But yeah. Guarana is what I mean. I made my oil out of guarana, black seed oil, and castor oil. You guys have a wonderful day. I'm sure I'll probably jump out here later on. Take care. I'm going to try to get out of the escape room here. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. I'm stuck. I can't get out. Okay, bye.